Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of Kayla Creates. And today I'm doing more plant stuff because that's what's been making me happy lately. This is probably the second time in a month that I've done my makeup, so haven't really been filming that. So here I am with plant stuff. So I have a lot of Epipremnum. They're mostly pothos specifically, but I thought I was going to go through all of my Epipremnum in my collection. So without further ado, let's jump into this. So the first, where do I want to start? First of all, if you guys have different names for all of these, please let me know. I'm mostly just going off of what they were marketed as when I bought them. So if I have like a Pearls and Jade, but it's actually an Enjoy or something, please let me know. They all look so similar. But I'm gonna start out with, since I talked about it, my Pearls and Jade. She is relatively small. She's not really trailing too much, but she is getting relatively big. She was pretty small when I bought her, but she seems to be happy in my current house. I just have her in a terracotta pot. I have her hanging on my wall on my little lattice that I have, and she's so easygoing. Next, I'm gonna go with my neon pothos. She is honestly on kind of like a strike right now. She was super happy, and then I moved and suddenly she was super droopy, super unhappy. This whole thing is all one vine and she lost all of those leaves. I even tried splitting her because I thought it was too much plant in one pot. Didn't really help. I don't really know why, but she's just very unhappy. She kind of goes through phases where she's happy and then unhappy again. Right now she's unhappy. She lost a couple more leaves this week, but it's the same amount of light. It's just a different location, so I think my house is a little bit less humid, so maybe she's unhappy because of that. But I've had this plant for years, like probably like 4 years at this point, and I've chopped and propped her so many times. I just like to keep her nice and small. Alright, next I have a long girl. Alright, she's long. So this is my Cebu Blue. I got this plant with literally 2 leaves and I've propagated her up and big like this. That was probably like 2 or 3 years ago. Again, when I moved, she dropped a bunch of leaves that were up top, so I kind of have it wrapped around the top, and she's actually sprouting out little new plants. So, kind of happy. She does have some runners, but this part of the plant does not get as much light because the light is coming from up above, so I think she's just unhappy with that. But I probably will chop her again sometime soon because there's a lot of these runners and I like to keep nice leaves on there. Plus she is getting very long and a little bit less manageable. But I love the like silvery blue of this plant. Oh yeah, look at that. But very different than anything else that I have. Plus the leaf shape is really nice. Ah, I love it. Next I have my Snow Queen pothos. So this is a Marble Queen pothos with like extremely white variegation. I found this plant and I was so excited. I found this at like a grocery store or something. And again, it was not even trailing at all when I got her about a year ago. I love pothos for that reason. They get so long, so fast, and they're just so enjoyable to watch. But again, I have this one hanging on my wall. Actually, all the ones that I've talked about so far are hanging on my wall. But she's so pretty. She's so easy. This one's actually easier than my neon and my Cebu Blue. So very easy. Happy with the amount of light, happy with the amount of humidity, happy in its terracotta. Ah, I love Epipremnum. Alright, next in my first set of 5 is this crazy wonky plant. So this is my Mandula pothos, or pothos. This plant was marketed to me as a marble queen, but I really don't think it is. I think just with the leaf shape, it is a mandula. I've had this plant for literally forever. Good 5+ years on this plant. I have chopped and propped her multiple times. She even has this little like loop from hanging on to my trellis. I have separated and given this plant out to so many friends. This plant is honestly one of the easiest plants that I own. Plus, like, look how cool that leaf shape is. It's different compared to different pothos, and like over here it looks almost like Snow Queen, while over here it's a bit darker. I just think it's so cool. Look how dark that leaf is. Like, it's so cool how this plant is the same plant, right? Weird. All right. Ooh, who do I want to do next? I guess I'll do this guy next. So this one's really big. So let's see. This is the top. There's a couple of yellowing leaves, but she just keeps on going. So this is just my standard golden pothos. I've had this plant. This is also one of my original plants that I've had. I have had this plant for probably 5 years, and I up-potted her. She used to hang on my wall. She still kind of does, but just in this little macrame holder that I have. But she has gotten so long. Again, I have taken so many cuttings of this plant, given it to so many friends. I've wrapped it up top and started new little tiny plants, and she's just always so happy. Gives me huge leaves all the time, constantly growing. I love pothos. I love Epipremnum, especially golden pothos. They're just so good and standard for a good reason. This one is a Baltic blue pothos, so I'll write the scientific name on the screen. It is more of a bluish color. I don't give it a ton of light, so the blue hue has kind of disappeared, but she is still really beautiful. There was a little while that I thought that I was going to lose her, but suddenly she just bounced back. I think she just finally acclimated to my house, and I haven't gotten any fenestrations like this beautiful leaf. This one came with the plant. I haven't gotten any since I brought her into my home, but I also don't give it a ton of light, and I don't give it any way to climb. So I don't think I'm going to be getting any fenestrations on my own. I just mostly like the color and the shape of this plant. It's just so cool. I like how long the leaves are, and now she's happy. She's just been kind of running every time she grows new leaves, and there's new vines coming out and everything, and it just makes me so happy. I love this plant, and I just love how like big and lush she is too. All right, here comes another big one, and this one actually has a story to it. So I always thought that this was a jade pothos, but I am pretty sure it's just a standard golden queen. But this is one of my oldest plants. This is actually my very first pothos ever. So she's very long. I cannot get her in the whole screen. But this plant is actually a cutting from a job that I had. So I used to work at an aquarium in North Carolina, and there I was just selling tickets. So I was just the very entry part of my field. And when I left, they gave me a cutting of the plant that we had in the lobby, and I grew it up really big and beautiful, and then one day the whole thing just rotted, just completely rotted. I had to cut it up into pieces. I was so upset. I thought that I was gonna lose it, because this was, yeah, like 5-6 years ago that I got this plant, and I was so upset. I had maybe 4 leaves. And that was a 1.5 years ago. And I cut it up, I rerooted it in water, I put it in a smaller pot, very quickly outgrew that pot, I up-potted it into this, and now in my current house, it has exploded. It was not even trailing when I moved into this house, and I moved here in March. It is now August. So it is insane. I was told that it was a jade pothos, but I think it just wasn't getting enough light, because there is a little bit of the golden variegation on it. but it's still darker than my other golden pothos, so like I'm not quite sure. Is it pothos or pothos? I hear people saying both and I never know which one it is, but it's just so, the memories to it are my favorite. This is my first trailing plant that I ever had. Besides that, I only ever had succulents, and I hate succulents. But this is my second oldest plant, and I absolutely love her. I should probably name her. I could name her after the person who gave it to me. I could always name it Amber. But I love this plant, and I didn't even realize how long this went because it goes all behind other plants. So I'm very excited about it. Okay, the next one is kind of sad, but I felt like I had to show it anyway, just because like I wanted to be truthful with my plant journey. This is my global green. It is so unhappy. I don't know what happened. I moved and it is so unhappy. I've tried watering it more, I've tried watering it less. I've tried different windows in my house. My old house, this thing was exploding. It was so long and so happy all the time. And now I cannot find a place where it's happy. I've tried more light, I've tried less light, I've tried artificial light, and it's just getting worse and worse. I think it might be fully dead at this point. Just a little bit of that chlorophyll is still running, but I love this plant, and it makes me sad that it's unhappy. I might just have to get a new one, but yeah, global green pothos. I've even tried taking chops and propagating it, and those are even unhappy. So I think my plant just might have reached the end of its life. I don't know. Alright, now I'm going to another little guy that I'm really proud of. So this little tiny one is a skeleton key, so Epipremnum skeleton key. And of course it does not have its skeleton key like looks, but I had this plant for probably a year, and I thought that I repotted it when I got it. I did not. I still had the original mix that came with it, and it was very airy, very chunky, so I completely underwatered it. It just died off like slowly but surely, and I chopped it up into pieces probably like 6 months ago now, and then for a couple of weeks I put it in just a Tupperware with some sphagnum moss, and once I had some roots I put it back into a little pot. This is actually a speaker pot that my friend gave me, and it's super cute, but it's so happy now. I also have like way more cuttings of it too now that have roots. I was thinking about selling them. I don't know, they're tiny. So I was thinking about selling them on Etsy for like $5 each. I also have a bunch of silver sword little cuttings that are the same way. But they're so tiny, I don't want to sell them for anything like crazy, but none of my friends want them, so just enough to pay for shipping or something? I don't know. We will see, but I love this little guy, and I'm hoping to get it big enough to have the shape, but I'm not good with moss poles, so we'll have to figure something out. Alright, now on to another really big guy. Ugh. So I was told that this is a Hawaiian pothos. I don't really know the difference between that and golden pothos, but I've had this plant for over a year now, and it is so happy. It's like completely leaning towards the light because I have this on top of my fridge. And I love how much it's been trailing. I love how just massive these leaves are. These are just so big. Like, look how big this leaf is right here. It's so huge, but so happy. I don't do anything special with this plant. It is just huge and lush and happy, and I'm just happy that I have it. Alright, I only have 2 more, so sit tight. We'll get through them. Next is probably my weirdest Epipremnum, but this is my Shangri-La, I think that's how you say it, but this is the way that the leaves look. Like, they are supposed to be all curled up like this, and that's just the way that it grows, and I think that is so neat and interesting. My boyfriend actually, when I first got it, thought that it was dying like immediately because I had it sitting away from the rest of my plants because I hadn't inspected it for any bugs just yet. So I had it sitting on the sink away from all my plants, and he watered it because he thought that it was shriveling up, which is very sweet of him. But I was like, no, it's supposed to look like that, but I appreciate you. It's actually dripping on me right now because I watered it last night. But I think this is so neat. It's also gotten really big since I've gotten it. I only got this 2 months ago, maybe, and it was not trailing at all yet. So again, Epipremnums for the win. I love these things. And then last but not least is my personal favorite. I spent a pretty penny on this thing. I mean, it wasn't crazy expensive. I just don't tend to spend a ton of money on my plants. But this one's my absolute favorite. And then this is my Epipremnum pinnatum variegata albo. Like, look how pretty these freaking leaves are. I am absolutely obsessed. The camera's not even like doing them justice. They are so pretty. I love the white variegation on them, and I'm not normally like a variegated girl, but this plant makes me happy. I actually just chopped it last night because I had a couple of nodes without any leaves, so I always tend to just chop it back at that point, because then I can propagate it and hopefully get more plant, and then also it kind of convinces the plant to grow a little bit more. But I love the tiny little fenestrations that are in here. There's like a couple of little holes, and I love that the pot that I have this in is just like a girl taking care of her plants. But this is all local, so this is from a local shop, and it's just so pretty. I love this thing, and I love how much it's grown. I was really nervous to buy it because it was like $40, I think, which is way more than I normally spend on my plants, but so cute. I love it so much. All right, so that is all my pothos. So that was 5, 6, 7, 13 different types of Epipremnums. So that is a lot. I think that's the biggest collection I have. I don't know, philodendron and Hoya might be close. But if you guys want to see another collection video, let me know. I don't have a big following, so I'm probably just going to do one anyway. I'm thinking about doing my Hoya next, just because I love Hoyas. They make me really happy, and I want to work on my philodendrons just a little bit more before I show them off. And yeah, so I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you guys had fun seeing my plants, because I love these types of videos on other people's channels. And let me know if you want anything else from me. I'm thinking about just doing plant content now, which, I mean, I think I would have to change the name of my channel, but like, I don't know what else it would be. So, I don't know. But thank you guys for hanging out with me, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day wherever you are. And I will see you again next time. Bye.